Fellas, let's have an honest conversation. When a woman is truly interested in you, you won't be left in the dark wondering how she feels. You'll know. Her words, her actions, her energy, they'll all be in sync, and you'll feel her presence even when she's not around. But when she's not into you, the signs are just as clear if you're willing to see them. The problem is, most men don't want to see them. We convince ourselves she's just busy, she's shy, or she'll come around. We keep chasing, hoping, and overthinking. And in the process, we waste time, lose confidence, and sometimes even forget our own worth. The truth? A woman who's not into you is doing you a favor. She's showing you that she's not the right one for your energy, your time, or your future. And the sooner you can recognize that, the sooner you can redirect your focus to someone who values you the way you deserve to be valued. So in this session, we're going to break down 10 clear signs she's not interested. Signs that, once you learn them, will keep you from chasing dead ends and help you show up with strength and clarity in your relationships. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, what you think you become, resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Chapter 1. She's always too busy. If a woman truly wants to see you, she will make time for you. It doesn't matter if she's juggling work, family, friends, and a packed schedule. If she's interested, you'll be somewhere in that calendar. When she's not interested, her schedule magically becomes a fortress of excuses. I'd love to hang out, but I'm swamped this week. Things are just really hectic right now. Let's plan something soon. Soon never comes. Short story. I had a friend, Marcus, who was really into this girl named Tasha. She was smart, funny, and beautiful. Everything he thought he wanted. He'd call her, text her, ask her out. Every single time she had a reason why she couldn't make it. Work's crazy. My cousin's in town. I'm feeling a little under the weather. But here's the kicker. Marcus would see her out with friends on Instagram the same nights she said she was too tired to meet up. It wasn't that she didn't have time. It was that she didn't want to make time for him. The lesson here? If she's always too busy, she's telling you her priority list, and you're not on it. Chapter 2. Conversations feel like pulling teeth. When a woman likes you, conversations are effortless. She asks you questions. She laughs at your stories. She dives deeper into topics you bring up. There's energy. There's curiosity. There's flow. But when she's not into you, every text and every talk feels like a chore for both of you. Her replies are short. Her tone is flat. Her energy is somewhere else. Short story. Back in college, I met a girl named Elna. She was gorgeous, and I thought we had chemistry, at least at first. But every time I texted her, I'd get answers like, "Lol, yeah, cool." It was like talking to a brick wall that occasionally sent emojis. The final straw came when I called her one night to chat. After a few awkward silences, she said, "Hey, I'm gonna let you go. My show is on." That was it. My competition wasn't another guy. It was a sitcom rerun. Here's the truth. If you have to force every conversation, you're not building a connection. You're dragging dead weight. A woman who's interested will meet you in the middle. One who isn't will leave you standing alone. Chapter 3. She avoids physical closeness. When someone is drawn to you, it shows in the smallest ways. The way they lean in when you speak. The way their hand might linger on yours. The way their body turns toward you without them even realizing it. Physical closeness isn't just about romance. It's about comfort and connection. But when she's not into you, the opposite happens. She keeps her distance. She steps back when you move closer. Hugs are quick, one-armed and awkward. There's no casual touch, no playful nudge, no warmth in her body language. Short story. A buddy of mine, Daniel, had been talking to this woman, Claire, for a few weeks. They met through mutual friends, and at first, he thought things were going well. Good laughs, shared interests, fun group hangouts. But every time he tried to bridge the gap physically, offering a hug goodbye, sitting next to her, she'd instinctively put something between them. Her bag, a drink, even another person in the group. One night after a group dinner, he went in for a friendly hug and she literally stepped back, smiled politely and said, "Oh, I'm not really a hugger." Later that week, he saw her on social media hugging her girlfriends, her guy friends, even the DJ at the club. It wasn't that she wasn't a hugger, she just wasn't hugging him. The lesson: your body language is her truth. If she's avoiding any kind of closeness, it's not because she's shy. It's because she doesn't want to send you the wrong signal. Take that signal seriously. Chapter 4. She doesn't remember what you tell her. When someone truly cares, they remember the details. Your favorite coffee order, the name of your dog, that story you told about your crazy trip abroad. It's not about having a perfect memory. It's about paying attention. When she's not into you, it's like your words vanish into thin air the moment they leave your mouth. You could tell her something 3 times, and the next time it comes up, it's like she's hearing it for the first time. Short story. I knew a guy named Jay who had been crushing on a coworker, Vanessa. He'd told her more than once that he was into photography. In fact, he'd shared a whole story about how his grandfather had given him his first camera. A couple of weeks later, they were chatting in the break room when she asked, "So, what do you do for fun?" When he mentioned photography again, she tilted her head and said, "Oh, really?" I had no idea. Jay just smiled, but deep down, he knew. She hadn't forgotten. She just hadn't cared enough to remember. The lesson: if she doesn't remember the things you tell her, it's not because she's too busy or scatterbrained. It's because you're not on her mental priority list. And when you're not on that list, her heart isn't in it either. Chapter 5. She only reaches out when she needs something. There's a difference between someone wanting you in their life and someone wanting something from you. When she's into you, she'll reach out just to say hi, to share something funny she saw, or to ask about your day. But when she's not into you, you'll notice a pattern. She only calls, texts, or meets up when it's convenient for her. It's never, "How are you?" It's always, "Can you do me a favor?" Or, "Are you free to help me with something?" It's a transactional connection, not an emotional one. Short story. A friend of mine, Omar, had been talking to this woman, Serena, for months. At first he was excited. She was charismatic, always had something interesting to say, and made him feel needed. But then he noticed. She only texted when she had a problem. Her car battery died. He drove over. She needed someone to help move a couch. He was there. She couldn't figure out her laptop. Guess who spent 2 hours fixing it? But weeks would go by without a single check-in from her, unless she needed something. When Omar finally stopped offering help, the messages stopped altogether. Lesson: the Greek philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." When a person values you for who you are, not just for what you can give, they want your presence, not just your usefulness. If she only calls when she needs something, she doesn't see you as a priority. She sees you as a resource. And here's the truth: you are not an emergency hotline for someone who doesn't care about your well-being. Chapter 6. She avoids talking about the future. When two people are truly interested in each other, Even casual conversations naturally drift toward the future. Plans, trips, goals, dreams. It doesn't have to be heavy talk about marriage or kids. It could be as simple as, "We should check out that restaurant next week. That movie's coming out next month. Let's go see it." But if she's not into you, there's no next time. Every plan is vague. Every suggestion is brushed off. She'll say things like, "We'll see. Maybe. I'm not sure yet." That's her way of keeping you in the now without ever committing to the later. Short story. I once knew a guy named Reza who met a woman named Leah at a networking event. They hit it off and started seeing each other casually. But every time he tried to plan something more than a few days in advance, she'd dodge it. "Want to go hiking next weekend?" "Oh, I don't know my schedule yet." "How about we grab tickets for that comedy show next month?" "I'm not sure where I'll be then." Eventually, he realized she wasn't unsure about her schedule. She was unsure about him. Lesson. As Seneca wisely wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When someone is excited about you, they want to spend their time, one of life's most precious resources, making memories with you. If she avoids making future plans, she's telling you she doesn't see you in hers. Here's the bottom line. When the future disappears from the conversation, it's a sign that your place in her life is already fading in the present. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, "What you think, you become," resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Chapter 7. Her energy changes around you. Energy is one of the most honest forms of communication. You can fake a smile, you can force polite conversation. But energy? That doesn't lie. When a woman is into you, her energy rises when you're around. Her eyes light up, her tone shifts. She leans in. She's present. But when she's not into you, you'll feel the difference. Conversations feel flatter. She's distracted. She checks her phone more than she looks at you. It's not that she's in a bad mood. She just isn't in a mood for you. Short story. I remember my cousin Adrian telling me about a girl he'd been seeing, Bella. In the beginning, she was all in, quick to laugh, playful in her texts, always eager to see him. But a few weeks later, something changed. She still agreed to hang out sometimes, but it felt different. They'd be at dinner, and she'd be scrolling on her phone while he was talking. When he made a joke, she'd just nod and give a faint smile. None of the deep laughter she used to have. One night, he asked her if everything was okay, and she replied, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired." But the next evening, he saw on her Instagram that she'd been out late with friends, laughing and dancing. That's when it hit him. It wasn't about her being tired. It was about her energy being reserved for other people. As Carl Jung once said, "You can't fake energy. It reveals what words try to hide." Pay attention to how her presence feels. If her vibe drops when you show up, and only when you show up, then her interest has already faded, no matter what her words say. Chapter 8. She's consistently unavailable for emotional support. We often think attraction is only about romance or physical chemistry, but true connection requires emotional presence. When someone values you, they care about your highs and lows. They'll ask how your day was. They'll notice when something's off. They'll offer comfort when life hits hard. But when she's not into you, she's emotionally absent. You could tell her you've had a rough day, and she'll just say, "Oh, that sucks." You could share good news, and she might send a quick thumbs up emoji. There's no depth, no genuine investment in your well-being. Short story. A man I once coached, David, told me about a woman he'd been dating casually for 2 months. He thought things were going somewhere until the night his grandmother passed away. He texted her to let her know, expecting at least a phone call or some comforting words. All he got back was, "Sorry to hear that. Hope you're okay." No offer to meet up, no follow-up later, nothing. A week later, she messaged him asking if he could help her set up her new TV. The emotional imbalance was crystal clear. She wanted his help when it benefited her, but she wasn't there when he needed even the smallest gesture of care. The philosopher Aristotle said, "What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies." That applies to romantic interest too. If she's not showing up for you emotionally, not even in small ways, it's a sign she doesn't see you as someone worth investing her heart in. Here's the hard truth. A woman who can't be present for your struggles isn't going to be present for your growth either. And if she's not emotionally invested now, she won't magically become invested later. Chapter 9. She keeps you out of her world. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she naturally weaves you into the fabric of her life. You don't have to ask to meet her friends. It happens. You don't have to wonder about her family. She tells you stories without hesitation. You're not a separate part of her existence. You're part of her ecosystem. But when she's not into you, you notice the invisible walls. She keeps her social life separate. She never talks about introducing you to the people who matter most to her. You don't get invitations to important moments. In fact, you're not even sure how you'd fit into her world if you tried. The truth is, integration is a form of intimacy. If she's keeping you isolated from her circle, she's protecting that circle from you. And that usually means she doesn't see you as a long-term presence. As Cicero once said, "Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by the doubling of our joy and the dividing of our grief." Romantic interest follows the same law. People share their lives with those they want to keep close. If you're not being invited in, it's because she doesn't want you to stay. Chapter 10. Your gut already knows. You can read every sign on this list, analyze every behavior, and seek endless confirmation. But at the core, you already know. There's a quiet, persistent awareness inside you that's been signaling the truth for a while. You've felt the shift in her energy. You've noticed the lack of effort. You've sensed that something isn't aligned. The problem isn't that you can't see it. It's that you don't want to believe it. We cling to the hope that we're wrong, that maybe tomorrow she'll change, that maybe the story isn't over yet. But in doing so, we ignore the one voice that's never lied to us, our own intuition. Lao Tzu said, "At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want." That knowing doesn't need validation. It doesn't need a conversation. It doesn't even need her to admit the truth. When you trust your gut, you stop chasing clarity from someone else and start creating closure for yourself. You stop asking, "What if she likes me and I just can't tell?" and start asking, "Why am I investing in someone who doesn't invest in me?" The signs are there. The question is, will you listen to them, or will you keep pretending you don't see them?